Thank you for watching NTV. You are still watching NTV Weekend Edition. Now, Uganda is a rapidly urbanizing country, and the growing urban centers are becoming the engine of Uganda's economic development. Despite the growth of different towns and cities, most of the urban infrastructure outside Kampala has been poor and a hindrance to the development of the full potential of the towns and cities. Now, in 2013, the Uganda Support to Municipal Infrastructure Development Program, USMID, was launched to enhance the institutional capacity of different municipalities to improve service delivery through the improvement of urban infrastructure. Now, over a decade, the USMID program has transformed 10 cities, 12 municipalities, and 11 refugee-hosting districts. And in studio tonight with us to give us a sense of the program's impact is Isaac Mutenyo, the USMID Program Coordinator. Good evening, Isaac, and thank you for joining us on Talk of the Nation.
Thank you.
So, Isaac, we would like you to bring us up to speed with, an overview of the USMID project, and also highlight for us the intended objectives of this program. Have they been met?
Well, thank you very much. I think to start with is, if you recall very well, around the 2010s, beginning of those years, there had been a lot of effort that government had put in the rural areas. We had projects which were called poverty alleviation projects, but they were focusing mostly on the rural areas. But the government realized that actually most of the GDP generation is in the urban areas. But looking at how the urban areas were doing then, especially the municipalities, most of the infrastructure had broken down, it was dilapidated. The managers of these cities were struggling. So there was some kind of paradigm shift that let us focus more on where the GDP is being generated. So that was the conceptualization of the USMID program. That was in 2013, like you said. And the project was intended to address two main things. The first one was to build the capacity, the institutional capacity of the municipalities, that those people who are managing these areas have the capacity, the systems, the equipment to manage. And then the second one was that let us revamp the infrastructure. So those are the two main things that the project was intended to do. And so from 2013, we've been doing a lot of things. We have been developing urban infrastructure. Now, the way the project operates, and that's why many times people think that the USMID is a road project. The project operates by providing funds to resource the plans of these entities. And most of the plans, because of the poor state of roads, most of the local governments have plans to improve their roads. So we resource the local governments with the monies, and then they use the monies to do roads. That's why you see there have been so many prioritization of road infrastructure.
But is USMID a only road project, or there are other?
It is not a roads project.
Infrastructures that you develop.
USMID is a project to develop the urban infrastructure.
For instance,
roads are part of them.
Yes.
Markets are part of them. Transportation hubs like bus terminals, taxi parks, solid waste, all these.
And how come the roads are the ones that are very most popular?
It is because, number one, is that the roads contribute a lot to mobility. Most of the trade and commerce is moving. Okay? And then number two, I think for the governors or the people who take up the leadership prefer to improve the face. Because the road, if you are moving to an urban area, the first thing that you recognize, potholes, or are the roads good? If you take examples like Jinja, the precincts of Jinja municipality as planned, all of it had paved roads. By 2013, all the roads, all of them, I think it could be just about maybe 5% of the road network in Jinja city was motorable. Okay, so the impact that road construction was creating to transformation of the cities was high. That's why most of them did prioritize roads. But we've done, if you go to Moroto, for instance, we've done a bus terminal, which is supposed to be a hub where all the bus transportation coalesces. In Entebbe, we've done a tax park, which is combined together with vendors for people to trade. In Arua, we've done a tax park. In Fort Portal, we've done a lorry park because I think there's a point where there are so many trucks bringing in produce from the rural areas. So we did a lorry park for them. So it is far, far beyond roads, but the prioritization is because of the importance and the state in which the roads were.
So let's look at the impact of, the developing this infrastructure in particularly municipalities, because the USMID program has transformed 10 cities, 12 municipalities, and 11 refugee-hosting districts. So do you think these new infrastructure assets are adding value to, businesses and living conditions in those areas?
We can give an example of Mbale City, for instance. And the ease with which people are doing transport, trading, that produce comes in, there's a very good road near the market, and the produce is moved from the roads into the markets. I think there's very big impact in terms of trading. But there's impact also in terms of the value of properties. In Gulu, when we did the first roads, I think we commissioned the first roads in around 2016. And we had testimonies of people on how the value of the properties, plots of land, how the value had gone up simply because a road which used to be Maram had been upgraded to tarmac. That a plot which was costing, say, 30 million, the price had gone up to 300 million. And that's tremendous transformation because the properties grow. But even the revenue generation, one of the main important tasks of the councils, local government councils, is to get revenue to provide the services. We have seen revenues grow. Okay, why? Because the people who are paying the taxes, who are paying to the municipalities, are trading more. They are getting more profit and they're paying. So I think there's huge transformation. But even the living condition of people. In Entebbe, when we did one of the first roads, people said eventually we are able to jog on the roads. Why? Because the roads are not only catering for the vehicular traffic, not only the motorized traffic. We provide even the walkways. But not only the walkways, we even provide the street lights. So somebody goes to work during day, then in the evening, he's able to take a jog. And that's good living. Because where to jog from the ground is good, but also there's light, so it is secure.
Yes.
Yeah. So apart from just looking at the roads being good, but there's real transformation in the livelihoods of people.
Now, our country, every other time we have a new city, being demarcated or carved out, do you think it is possible to have some kilometers of roads in some of these new cities, given the fact that some of them are actually very, very rural?
So for roads, initially we are looking at the CBD. This is the area where there's too much trading, there's so many people. Now the next step is these cities, what we've discovered, the 10 new cities, they have expanded in size to the extent that they have annexed so many villages. It is both good and bad. It is bad because that makes provision of services very expensive. But it's good because those areas can be a very good area for reducing the pressure. So what we are planning now, in case we get another intervention of this kind, is to open up. Okay? So if you open up, for instance, if you have the center of the city here, and maybe 10 kilometers away, there's a trading center. Open up those roads as artillery roads to allow trading and also to ease the concentration in the city. So moving forward, I think it will be important for us to see how we move out of the cities, but also the planning, because we do a lot of physical planning in our project as well. We have plans now to do the physical plans in the expanded areas of the cities which are not built up yet. So that when the building up starts, when the actual development starts, it starts on a well-planned ground.
There have been concerns about keeping these new roads, in shape. As USMID, do you have any strategies on maintenance of these new roads?
Some of the things we are doing, number one, is to try and support these local governments to raise as much own revenue as much as possible. Because if they have own revenue, they can very quickly do small maintenances. When things like opening up the drains,
things like buying a battery to replace on a street light. So that would help. So indirectly, by helping them to raise their revenue, we expect that the maintenance will be upped.
So as we get to conclude this conversation, there is no doubt from your deliberation that USMID has done a great a job. It is doing very well in terms of infrastructure development. What are some of the challenges that you have encountered while carrying out or while implementing this project?
We have achieved a lot, but there are some challenges. I think the number one biggest challenge is the high expectation. When the citizens see one area improving, they want theirs too. So there's been very high expectation, which unfortunately is very hard to meet. The other thing is, we are spending almost up to 10% of the development grant that we give to local governments to relocate the utilities. Before you build a road, you must remove the pipes and put them somewhere. That's very costly. That needs to change. But otherwise, I think we have done a good job, and I do hope that this will go further than the closure date of 30th.
All right. Well, thank you, Isaac Mutenyo. He's the USMID Program Coordinator, getting to paint for us a picture what the USMID project has been, what it has contributed in terms of the infrastructure development. And that conversation takes us in for a short break, but NTV Weekend Edition continues shortly.